Hi, let's learn today a bit about campaign optimization. Creating and deploying the campaign is only the first step. What is more important is campaign optimization. Normally, if you are creating and running campaign manually, that means you hire an actual campaign manager to manage your campaign. 80% of the campaign manager's work is in optimization, where he or she will need to continuously monitor the performance of the campaign and make changes that are grounded based on experimentation and data to optimize, to ensure you get better results. One of the most complex and difficult part of optimization is audience optimization, ensuring that your ad is served to people who have the intention to buy and not served to people who have no intention to buy. Because you must understand, at the end of the day, Facebook and Google charge you based on impression. So even, let's just say, if the ad is shown to someone who does not buy, you still have to pay for that impression. By ensuring your ad is shown to the right people, you ensure that you have more conversion and you have a lower cost per conversion. So how does audience optimization works? You can see right at the early part, Peasy already create an audience based on multiple data points. For example, when it recommends all of this gender and age breakdown and language breakdown and all of this interest, it is grounded based on research and data. But assuming after we have kickstarted the campaign, we realize that the campaign performance, it's still not as good as we like, or it could be doing very well, but we want to refine the performance better. What Peasy will do is it will start performing split testing. It might take out of this entire audience that is performing very well, if there's only one segment, it split it into multiple segments. It could automatically create one that is male and another that is by female, so it breaks down by gender. Or it can do a split testing based on interest. So one group of people that have interest in Facebook, page admin, Facebook advertising, Facebook for business. Another group of audience, it create another segment that has this other remaining interests. And when it does split testing, one of the most important thing that that Peasy would avoid is overlap. It will always ensure, let's just say, if we break this segment that has a 10 million population, it will be broken down in a way that there is no overlap. You wouldn't find someone who is in both segments. That means we would create the exclude in such a way that each segment only target a specific group of individuals but never overlapping in its targeting. This is very important because we do not want to overpay for your bid by creating overlapping audience. So Peasy does this split testing in audience automatically. In addition to conventional split testing, Peasy would also look at your offline sales transaction. So if you recall in the article on how to manage your leads, Peasy will look at all the leads that has been accumulated, understand which lead has converted into actual customer, study the common characteristic between those that converted and those that were disqualified, and use those understanding to improve the targeting. For example, let's just say initially we were targeting 25 to 55-year-old male and female living in Malaysia with all these different interests. And at the end of the campaign, we achieve or in the midst of the campaign, we achieve 100 leads. Peasy would then analyze, out of this 100 lead, 50 were disqualified by your sales team and 50 were qualified by your sales team. Peasy would analyze what are the common characteristics between the qualified lead and what are the common characteristics with all the disqualified lead. For example, if we realize majority of the people who are qualified as good leads have an interest in entrepreneurship, age from 25 to 30. And majority of the people who were disqualified had an interest in self-employment and age 40 to 45. Peasy would then automatically, based on those data, change the campaign targeting so that we will exclude self-employment from the targeting and change the age group to 25 to 45. All this happens automatically. All your sales team have to do is just categorize who is qualified and who is disqualified. Peasy would look at that data and change the targeting automatically. So this is what audience optimization is about. Thirdly, suppose let's just say we realize that let's just say this campaign have multiple different audience, and we realize that one audience could not finish all of the budget assigned to the segment, but the other audience is able to spend more, so it will automatically change the budget setting so that we will remove the budget from this segment and give it to another segment. So we will optimize the audience targeting, and it will also optimize the audience budget allocation as well. All this again is done automatically. Again, if it realize in terms of channel optimization, if it realize that majority of the conversion, majority of people who buy and people who click or people who engage happens to be coming in from Instagram rather than Facebook. Again, it will change the budget composition to allocate more budget to Instagram rather than Facebook. And all this is done properly based on data, based on attribution modeling, not based on gut feel and intuition. So the beautiful thing about how our AI is optimizing this is that it's not done in a post analysis. At the very beginning of the campaign, as you can see, the AI already predict the results that this campaign can generate. What happened behind the scene is that our AI is predicting for multiple different scenarios, and it is also predicting what are the data points that would affect each and every different scenarios. So when the campaign goes live, once the data fulfill any of this scenario with certain level of confidence, automatically the AI would change all of the campaign targeting automatically. So in addition to running it just based on post-mortem analysis, which is what most manual campaign manager would do, our product also uses predictive analysis, and that is the primary difference. It can make those changes faster than an average human can, because our AI is directly connected to Facebook, Google, and Instagram, and is receiving update every iota of a second. And based on this data, it is ever ready to make the necessary move because it already have predicted several scenarios. So in addition to channel optimization, Peasy also optimizes the bid. For example, in this campaign, the current bid is set at 8 ringgit and 5 cents for every 1,000 impression. If it noticed that now at this point in time at 6 to 7 o'clock, we could actually get more results at a lower rate, it would actually reduce a bit. If it predicts at a certain amount of time that, hey, although our CPM will increases, but the quality of the customer is higher, in order to win the competition, we increase it a wee bit, Peasy would also automatically increase the bid as well. So all this bid is done, optimization is done automatically. It would constantly monitor the auction report to ensure that our bid is competitive. It would ensure that the bid is set in such a way that we can achieve more results for less amount of spend. So all of this optimization is done automatically. Audience, bid, and channel. So you do not need to constantly log into Facebook or log into Peasy and continuously monitor your campaign performance. You can entrust Peasy to do all of this automatically for you. Now, there are only two things that you still need to optimize on your own. One is creative. We do not believe at this point in time that the AI should be creating the ads for you. We still want you to create the ads on your own. Now you must understand, in Facebook, in Facebook, Google, and any digital marketing, there is always a very important factor that determines whether your ad is served or not. That is ad fatigue. So if you go to your Facebook ad manager, key in frequency, you can see this number here. It will indicate to you what is the ad frequency. Ad frequency describes how many times the same person have seen the ad before. So if you are running a reach and impression campaign where your objective is brand awareness and brand recall, you would want the frequency to go up to 3, 4, or even 5. But if you are running a conversion, a lead campaign, a traffic campaign, you would want your frequency to remain at 2 and below. The minute ad frequency increases beyond a certain threshold for a low event count campaign, Facebook and Google will reduce the impression or the serving of the ad, and that would drive down your volume and increase your cost per conversion. So in order to make sure that this does not occur, we advise that you constantly monitor your ad frequency, and when it reaches 2 and above for low event count campaign, this includes traffic, conversion, and lead, please change your creative immediately. Upload a new creative onto Peasy and click Save and Publish. If you are running a reach and impression or engagement campaign, if your frequency exceeds 3 to 5, we also recommend that you go back to Peasy, upload your creative, a new set of creative, come back with a new set of creative, and click Save and Publish again. Now, the rule of thumb is that if you are running a campaign, do not change or do not make any changes to the creative until at least 9,000 impressions. Meaning, let's just say if you think, oh, this campaign is not doing very well, before you make that call, before you decide whether this creative is good or not good, make sure minimum the impression is 9,000 and above. Because any AI need data to make a decision, to make a learning. So anything below 9,000 impression is insufficient volume of data for even Facebook or Peasy to decide whether this creative is good or not. It's premature to change before achieving 9,000 impression. So the only 2 things I need to do, number 1 is creative, number 2 is budget. Now what I mean by budget is this. Sometimes the result of the campaign is so good that we are achieving the KPI even before the allocated deadline. Suppose, let's just say your target is to achieve 500 sales at a spend of 1,000 ringgit. So it's 2 ringgit for every sale. And you want to achieve this within a time frame of 10 days. But let's just say after we roll out the campaign, Peasy and Facebook and Google realize that we could actually get all 500 sales and spend 70% of the money within the first 2 days. Now, if that occurs, our recommendation to you is to go back to Peasy to increase the allocated budget. Because once it's finished the 70% of the budget, the rest of the days or the balance of the day, you will see a tremendous drop in terms of performance, simply because it's running out of budget. So if you want to keep the campaign with the same momentum, quickly go back to Peasy, change the budget, and click on this Save and Publish button again. So just to repeat, audience, bid, and channel is completely automatically done by Peasy. Peasy would run split testing, would run predictive analysis in terms of optimization. So you do not need to go to Facebook Ad Manager or Google Ad Manager, sit in front of your computer and monitor the performance every day. Run your business, don't run your campaign. The only two things that you need to keep track of is your creative ad frequency, and also if the campaign finishes the budget before the allocated time. All right, thanks.